This is the 7th worksheet of the Pre Algebra Worksheet Series. This is Pre Algebra Worksheet 06. Remember, we started with 0. Okay, so we're going to be combining algebraic expressions. This is our third lesson in this, and we're not going to be drawing these today. So, for example, in this problem right here, 5x minus 7 plus 3 minus 2x, rectangles, squares, rectangles, rectangles, squares, rectangles. Open, shaded, open, shaded. So you want to visualize these as being rectangles and squares and open and shaded. I have a rectangle here and a rectangle here. So how I'm going to do this? I have more 5s than I do 2s. My 5 is positive, so the plus drops. Remember, you don't put a plus in front of your first term. Then the 5 are open and the 2 shaded. Since they're open and shaded, I'm going to take the small one away from the large one. So 2 away from 5 is 3, and my variable is x. I just wrote down sign, number, letter. Then we go to the next one. I have 7s and 3s. I have more 7s than I do 3s. My 7s are shaded, so the negative drops, and these are shaded. These are open. They're not the same, so I'm going to take 3 away from 7, and I'm going to get 4. So I wrote down my sign, and then I wrote down my number. This right here is the simplified answer. So we would have 3 open rectangles and 4 shaded squares. Let's go to this one right here. Shaded squares, open rectangles, shaded squares, shaded rectangles. So I have rectangles here and I have squares here. So I'm going to group my rectangles first. I have 5s and 9s. I have more 9s than I do 5s, don't I? So the negative drops. Now then, the 5 is open, the 9 is shaded. They're not the same, so I'm going to take the small away from the big. So 5 away from 9 is 4, and my variable is x. I just wrote down sign, number, letter. Now then, let's go to the squares. I have more 8s than I do 3s, so the sign in front of the 8's negative. It drops. See how I'm writing the sign first. The 8's negative and the 3's negative. They're all shaded, so I'm not going to subtract them. I'm going to add them. So if I combine 8 and 3, I'll get 11. I'll have 11 shaded squares. So my final answer would be 4 shaded rectangles and 11 shaded squares. Let's go down and do number... let's do number 6. Okay, so I have rectangles, squares, squares. So these are my rectangles. You may want to single underline your rectangles and double underline your squares. I should have done that. This is going to teach you to collect the like terms. Okay, so my rectangles are 8 and 5s. I have more 8s than I do 5s, so my sign's positive. I don't put plus in the front. The 8's open, the 5's shaded, so I'm going to subtract 5 away from 8's 3, and my letter is x. Then I look at the squares. I have more 7s than I do 2s. The 7's negative, and then I'm going to group the 2 and the 7 together, so 7 and 2, because they're both shaded, right? I'm going to have 9 shaded squares. So 3x minus 9 would be my answer. And let's go to the next page. Make sure you can multiply and divide again. These are real simple. Let's just do 25 and 26. Number 25, a negative times a negative is a positive. You don't put the plus. And 4 times 7 is 28. And my variable is x. So sign, number, letter. Right here, a negative divided by a positive is a negative. 40 divided by 8 is 5. And my letter is x. Sign, number, letter. So you're just getting sign, number, letters on all of these. Enjoy the day, and always believe.